All right, this is going to be my reflection of driving with Uber Eats for the first 2 days. The average pay, I'm reading everything that I wrote down. Basically, what I've gotten so far, the average pay for every trip I've done so far is around slightly more than $3 a trip. They're usually no more than 2 miles away. Most of the time, since I work full time and also coach, I'm just able to probably drive from say 6 in the afternoon until 10 or 11 at night. And most of the time, being at night, most of the people I deliver to are college kids. Most of them live in apartments, so most of the time I deliver to apartments. The only knock I have on some of the apartments is at nighttime is it's hard to see. Not all the apartments are well lit. Some of the apartments, to me, it seems like they don't really go in order. So you try to find the first apartment, they try to give you the best directions that they can. But usually since I drive in the afternoon, I call. I take my cell phone with me. I advise if you're going to work for Uber Eats, have your cell phone with you. Bring a car charger. They have a navigation system. It's a great navigation system, but it's going to use up your battery pretty quickly. And you have to, you can push it into your car if you have a GPS in your car or TomTom, whatever you want to call it. But it's going to, you have to keep your GPS on your phone because of that's how you calculate your miles. That's how you get your mileage, and that's how you get paid. Some of the things I wish Uber Eats or Uber in general would do would be once you pick the food up, once you accept the order, I wish they would give you the list, not just of where you're going to pick up your food, where you're going to pick up that person's food, but also where the person is located. Sometimes it may not be necessarily worth the trip or worth going. Has been a time where I picked up at McDonald's. I was so happy right by McDonald's, picked up the food there, slid the little icon over and said, I let Uber and the client know that I picked up their food, and then it gives me the client's address, and the client is like 300 feet from most of the places I pick up is McDonald's, and they say that 300 they live 300 feet from the McDonald's. They could have. It was it's nighttime. They may not want to get out, but they could have walked over to McDonald's. Also, some of the locations may not necessarily be the best. They most like I say most of the time they send me to college kids, but most of the time, like I say, out of say if I out of every 10 trips you do, what that I've done, probably nine have been younger kids in the early 20s and younger. Only one probably a guy that was probably in his 40s, but I think he was a doctor. But I've delivered to some pretty rough areas, probably about twice. And like I say, sometimes you get, if you don't take your phone, you won't be able to, well, you have to take your phone, but when you calling people, they don't really give you the best directions. But like I say, you just gotta, be nice to them. Hopefully they give you a tip. And just, if you upset, start an argument, it's gonna linger on. So you just, hand them their food, apologize, go on about your business. Let me see. Also, another thing for like I guess safety reasons, I wish Uber would give like a photo ID of the person or the people that you're going to deliver to, so you know what they look like. They do give you their name, but to me, I feel like it could be a fake name. I'm not sure how Uber really verifies the information, or maybe the restaurant verifies the information. Let me see. I wrote down here most places are not well lit. I just finished driving with Uber just probably like an hour ago when I ran into like maybe 3 or 4 locations where it was just dark roads, dark locations. I really don't feel like Uber pays enough, but like you say, I'm trying to make ends meet, and maybe on the weekends and holidays, things like that, it'll pick up maybe. They do pay you more, Like it can be like 1.2 times your pay all the way to 3 times your pay, delivering to, like, I guess in most areas I live in, like the inner city of the area. So you can up your pay. I have done a delivery where I made $10, so it was a pretty good delivery. Um, Let me see. It's not hard to set up an account um, pretty quickly. The longest thing is the background check. Let me see. Like I say, um, the biggest thing, I guess, if you got the time, once you make a drop, you can either, sit around, wait for the next drop. I had a day where it just gave me deliveries back to back to back. I had another day where they gave me the deliveries, but it was space in between them. So you sitting around waiting, or you go back home, which, I mean, like I said, they don't pay you when you go back home, but they do pay you from wherever they call you from, so that location. Um, so I mean, I think it's around 60 cents a mile. Uber will take out their cut. Wish their cut was a little less. I think in the recent years they've increased their percentage of how much their service fees are, as they call it. Let me see. I do like the fact that some restaurants, most of the places I pick up the food from are different McDonald's, but I do like the fact that if a restaurant does have a drive-through, you can just go to the drive-through, and that sends you to the second window. You let them know that some of the people some of the restaurants ask for the order number. Some don't. You just tell them you're Uber Eats, and they give you the food. They allow, what I like about some of the restaurants, like say you can go through the window, and others and you can also walk in. Let me see. They also, all the restaurants have a specific location. So if you're working with Uber Eats, when you come in, it's usually to like the left side of the cash register. You go over there and use I guess I'm not sure if they have my photo ID, but I go over there and they usually just say, "Are you with Uber Eats?" Because you have a certain location that you pick up your food. So I mean, it's most of the time it's pretty quick. The longest I probably have waited may have been possibly today. Probably I waited in line for 5 or 6 minutes. The app will let you know if the food is ready. Like when you accept the app, you have like accept the delivery. You have like 3 minutes, and when you go there, it'll say on there if the order is complete. Usually, sometimes I get there right when it's being completed or finished. Other times, I may have to wait, but none of the waits have been probably longer than maybe about 5 or 6 minutes. Let me see. Most of the time when I'm delivering at night, once it gets dark, especially not well-lit areas, I'll call the people and I'll pull up to their driveway. I don't go all the way to their driveway, safety reasons for myself. If it's a home, if it's an apartment, I still don't. I'll pull in a parking space and I just have them meet me, or I may pull up to the sidewalk and have them come down. I did have a client tonight that wanted me to come up, and like I say, he was only 300 feet away from the McDonald's, but I called him and said, "No, I'm not coming up. If you don't feel safe, you don't feel safe. If you're that hungry, he'll come meet you, or she, whoever it may be." But like I say, this is just my reflection off my first 3 or 4 days working with Uber Eats. I'm hoping the money will kick up, but like I say, just making spare change.